So mortgage rates keep going up, and you're trying to figure out how much house you can afford. It's probably a lot less than it used to be.
Right.
But if you want to find out just how much, you might want to stick around, and we might share that information with you. Hello everybody, my name is Barry Horvath and this is Moving Forward TV with your local market update.
And I am DeLynn Gaston. Thank you so much for joining us today. So on today's show...
we're doing really cool stuff like we do every week.
I know.
I think this week's cooler because I'm a numbers guy. So
I know. So you got to stick with us on this, okay? Because we're going to do some numbers because, yeah, that's our thing.
yeah, because we love numbers.
We do. Well, you know what? I never used to love numbers, and it's so funny because I can't do them in my head that fast like you can. I know. Even like when I'm walking through my husband's like a walking calculator. Though I'm walking through a store and I'll say, "Oh, look, hey, 20% off. What does that mean?"
It means you save money.
I know.
It means you're going to pay 80%. That's what it would mean.
That's my way of saying, can I buy this?
Yeah. Can I afford it? And
Are
how
you
much
okay
am I really saving?
Yes.
No,
but anyway, we're doing numbers
as we all know,
on mortgages.
As we all know, or if you don't know.
We're mortgage people.
Yeah. Well, she is, but anyway, no, we both are. But mortgage rates continue to climb, and we wanted to see how much of an impact does it have on the market, because it affects every one of us.
Right.
It affects our real estate professionals like you guys. It affects our buyers like you guys, more than you ever can imagine. So we just took a sample of what rates were and what they are today, and kind of figure out where you're going to be in your buying power. So two things happen to people. I mean, if you are on the cuff of being able to afford a house and not, how much you can afford changes drastically with the recent
tremendously.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They don't realize that it affects your buying power because with the interest rates going up, because I've had people call me and they looked at this house or whatever, and it might have been 3-4 months ago, and now they're they hadn't found anything, and now they find something. Well, that definitely affects it, because with the interest rate going up, if you were at one time qualified for 150 or something, now that might be down some. And I had them say to me, "Well, I thought you said I was good for 150 or whatever it was," and I'd say, "Yeah, but interest rates have changed."
Yep.
So keep in mind, first of all, on qualifying, we should say it's never an exact science, because the interest rates change every single day. And
sometimes twice.
When we're qualifying somebody, and they say, the real estate partners will say, "Well, how much can they afford?" Well, that depends on what are the taxes and what are the insurance, because that all factors.
And HOA fees.
And HOA fees. That all factors into how much house can this person actually afford. So if we're qualifying them and we're using as an estimated figure $1,200 a year for taxes, $1,200 a year for insurance, something like that, but the house they find, the taxes are $3,000 a year.
Because there's CDD fees.
Right. That's going to change the whole dynamics of it, and they're not going to qualify for as much. Same thing with interest rates. As the interest rates go up, what they qualify for is going to go down.
And two things are happening right now in the marketplace. Interest rates are going up, and so are prices.
Right.
So the house that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that you could afford last year, maybe now it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Right.
And so the price is changing, and the interest rates going up. It has an impact. So you ran some little samples. Do we want to share that with them?
Yes.
How much it can actually impact? Do we have time to do that? You guys want to do that with us?
Yeah, I think
they said okay.
Do we have time? Now you're like Mr. Rogers or something. Mr.
So
Rogers,
what else is new?
Do you guys want to do that with us? Come on, let's take a walk.
Sure you
let's
can.
all go to the ice cream shop.
Let's all figure out what our mortgage payment
Or what
is.
was it? Blue's Clues. My son used to watch when they were little. Remember that? Come on, let's go. All right.
Anyway, back to the show.
All right.
So let's think about housing prices, because right now, I think
Okay,
a
you want
house
to do housing
around
prices first.
$200,000 house right now, I
Right.
think it's a good example.
Right.
And that's not really, it's a good medium price to use
Right.
to work with, because if you remember, not long ago, you were looking at 140 to 160,000. I think that same house today is maybe 200,000.
It is. It is.
So
Yeah.
let's think about how much payment and how much more income you can make. So, yeah, I know you ran some numbers.
So about a year ago, or maybe even in the beginning of the year, interest rates were around 4.25%, right? And I'm just going middle of the road,
We call them-
basic 30-year fixed rate.
Not considering MI, any of
No,
that.
not considering MI.
Not talking about taxes.
No,
Not
just
talking about
principal
insurance.
and interest only. And I'm totally just pulling that interest rate because we all know it was in like the low fours.
We call
on
that-
a 30-year.
We call that four-ish.
Four-ish. So I used for my estimates
Four-ish.
4.25-ish. 4.25-ish.
On a
So what we're-
$200,000
On a $200,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to compare 4.25 about a year ago or the beginning of the year to 5.25, which is approximately where they are today.
Five-ish.
Five-ish. So it's gone
I
up
love
about. He loves us. I do too. So it's gone up about 1%. So how much does that 1%
How much does it change your payment, first
increase
of all?
in interest rate do to your monthly payment?
So on 4.25 on 200,000,
200,000.
it's about $983.88.
At 5.25,
At 5.25, that same $200,000 loan amount is $1104.41. That's
120
five-ish.
bucks.
That's $120 a month difference.
more.
So that same house, assuming the prices didn't go up right now, this year versus last year is now on a 30-year fixed note, $120 more a month.
And from a qualifying standpoint, that's like they have a student loan or a car payment or a personal loan or something at
Actually,
$120 a month.
We ran the numbers on that. You actually you actually have to make $300 more a month in income to qualify for that same payment.
To be at the same place.
Exactly, to qualify. So what does that mean? That's $3,600 more of income you need to show
Per year.
Today than you did a year ago to qualify for that same house payment. And that's kind of cool when you think about it, but it's kind of sad.
Right, that's a lot. Like I said, it's the $120 a month. That's a lot of money. You know, that's gas in your car. That's food on your table. That's as if you had
a good pay
student
raise.
loan or
That's a
something
good pay
like
raise
that.
at work.
But that's a nice
That's
pay raise at
That's
work.
$75 a week. That's over $2 an hour on a 40-hour work week. Yeah,
So
but, hey boss,
1%.
I
We're
need
just
over
talking
$2 an hour
1%
pay raise.
increase in
and
rate.
So on the other side of that, if you're looking at how much less house do you now qualify for because of that
This is
interest
the real
rate?
right.
This is kind of a killer.
So if you didn't get that $3,600 a year raise, and now that the interest rates went up, the payment goes up, you don't have that extra $300 a month to cover that $120.
So I'm going to,
you're going to qualify for less house.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you how much less house right after this.
I'm Jerry from Hot Locks Hair Salon. We are conveniently located at 13414 US Highway 19 in Hudson. I've been a local hairstylist in our community for the last 34 years, 7 of which I was an educator. Our passion is the artistry of hair, and Hot Locks is here to help you achieve your perfect image. You can call us at 727-514-9978.
Okay, in case you missed it before the break, we're going over the impact of interest rates on how much your payment's going up, how much more money you need to make. And
with just the 1% interest rate increase that has happened in 2018.
From last year to this year.
Right.
So now
it's really just since the spring, I'd
know,
say.
it's so
It's really
crazy.
just since the spring.
And you know what?
Probably even since the summer.
All indicators are rates are going to continue to go up.
Right.
So let's take that same example again. $200,000 house, 4.25 about a year ago, 4-ish.
4-ish.
5-ish this year, 5.25, that one point. Now will qualify you for about $22,000 less house. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's like almost 25%, right?
So when you could afford a $200,000, yeah.
Now you can only
Well,
afford a
that is
house at $200,000 now in today's world at the new rate. You can only afford a house on $178,000
because of that 1% interest rate increase. So, and as you said earlier, with the house prices going up and interest rates going up, now they're qualifying for that much less. So now that house that was $200,000 maybe, you know, in the spring that you could qualify for, now you can only qualify for $178,000. And that very house, and you all know, our real estate partners out there, that $200,000 house is probably now $2.25, right?
Yes.
Because things have continued to go up. So
listen, if it's me, I'm thinking you better get out and buy a house.
Yeah, pretty much now.
You know what?
Because the government did say that interest rates were going to keep going up.
Yes. So let's talk about 15-year versus 30-year, because I know you ran some numbers on that too.
That's the other thing that I wanted to talk about real quick if we can. So a lot of times what we get in the mortgage world is people want to pay their house off in 15 years. So they say, oh, I don't want a 30-year loan, I only want a 15-year loan. Most of the time we've qualified them on a 30-year. Obviously, as everyone knows, the longer you stretch something out, the lower the payment is going to be. Just like with a car loan, if you pay it off in 2 years, your payment's going to be through the roof. That's why they stretch them out 5 years, 7 years on new cars or whatever. The longer it stretches out, the smaller your payment is. So sometimes they don't qualify, but if they do qualify and they want to pay it off in 15 years, that's fine. We do have 15-year interest rates are usually a little bit lower. However, sometimes it's not always the best thing. So I always want to encourage people to talk to your financial planner about it. The difference in payment, you know, if your payment is $1,000 a month on a 30-year, it doesn't mean it's going to be $2,000 a month on a 15. Doesn't work that way. But it is going to be a few $100s more, you know, depending upon the loan amount. So again, just some
how much more would it be?
Right.
On the same example, we're talking $200,000.
$200,000, a 15-year versus a 30-year, about $375 a month.
Okay.
Is what the difference is going to be.
So can I give you my take on that?
Sure.
Here's my take on it. Now you need to come up with $375 more a month. Okay. Now, if you're the richest man in the world, maybe that doesn't make a difference. But let's just say that you're just getting by, and that extra $375 a month can make a difference. What if you lose your job? What if you become sick? What if you become disabled? What if one of the breadwinners, what if you
loses their job?
Loses their job. What if you separate? What if you get divorced? Your mortgage lender is not going to say, you know what, you can go ahead and give us a 30-year payment now,
right?
Even though you signed up for a 15. We'll let you go for the $375 less a month.
Doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
No.
You got to make that payment every time.
Right.
And it's for the next 240 payments.
Right.
Okay? That's a long time
to
have that extra payment. You are locked into it.
Yep.
And while it may feel good, you know, and you actually lose, this is the part people, most people, interest is tax deductible in most circumstances. I know the standard deductions change. Talk to your tax advisor.
Right.
But mortgage interest is amortized. What does that mean? In the beginning, you pay a lot more interest, and at the end, you're paying less interest because you're paying more
Every
towards
single
principal.
month,
The amount of interest you
Right.
pay is less, which feels good. But if you are itemizing your taxes, do you know that you are actually in a 15-year note, you're losing your tax deduction. So theoretically, as time goes on, you lose that tax deduction sooner.
and that's why we want to say talk to a financial planner, talk to your tax advisor, talk to.
Think about what you're
it's
locked.
not the best thing to do. Now, take what we sometimes will say to people, if you want, and I totally can appreciate that, because when people say to us they they want a 15-year because they want to pay their house off, and I can appreciate that. Really what they're looking to do, it's not so much that they want a 15-year payment. What they're looking to do is secure their future.
They want that financial independence.
They want the fit, and they want to secure their future. So they want to think, okay, so in 15 years when I retire, I don't want a house payment, and I totally get that, and I can understand that. But if you're looking to secure your future, you don't have to, like you said, do that. Just consider some options, because again, you might be losing that tax deduction that maybe you're going to need then.
So it's actually costing you more later, sooner, if that makes sense to you. So how much, all right, let's just say hypothetically, I know you ran numbers.
But when will then be now? Sorry, I just had to say that.
Oh, don't worry. Oh, she just got a tweet.
I did.
Oh, don't worry about silencing your phone during the show.
Sorry.
Anyway, how much, all right, so there's $375 a month payment. So let's just say hypothetically, we threw that in the bank and made no money over the next 15 years.
Right.
Zero interest.
Right.
How much cash would that be?
67,000. I didn't write it down. It's like 67,000 change.
67,000 in change.
That you would have in the bank.
Right.
If you took that extra 375 and put aside, and that's with no interest. If you put it into something with an interest bearing, then you would obviously
and interest is compounding. So
Right.
it would conceivably could be much more.
Right.
Okay.
So
And
which would you rather have?
I
Right?
always say this, I would say to people, you're buying a $200,000 house.
Yeah.
If I gave you a choice today, right now, would you rather have $200,000 of cash in your hand or a house that you own free and clear worth $200,000? Is that a trick question?
Right.
I mean, most people, I think, would say, I want to have $200,000 of cash in my hand.
Right.
Why? Because it's liquid, it's in my hand, I can use it, I can spend it how as I would like.
Right.
And on a house, maybe the market tanks. Maybe your house isn't worth $200,000. I love this stuff.
And then you're still getting the tax deduction and such.
Yeah, so it's a good thing. You know what? All right, enough about rates. You know what? We got some really good safety tips coming up that you may never, ever have thought of.
Or
We're
maybe.
Maybe, but we're going to share them with you after this because the holidays are coming. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Joe Stalteri. I'm one of the owners of Complete Care Systems. At Complete Care Systems, we do carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, tile and grout sealing, wood floor and laminate floor deep cleaning, as well as stripping and waxing of linoleum and vinyl floors, and a whole lot more. We also run daily deals and special, which you can find at CompleteCareSystems.com, or simply call Tricia up at 727-364-5158, and she'll answer all your questions and give you over the phone free estimates. Or she'll send me out to your home or office to give you an on-site free estimate. At Complete Care Systems, we don't cut corners, we clean them.
I got to tell you.
Yes.
I love the stuff we come up with on our show. And we always go by what people ask us,
And
questions.
I was just going to say the exact same thing.
Yeah, we do. And we do it in our lunch and learns, and we do it on our show.
The stuff that, you're right, the stuff that comes up, whether buyers have questions for us or, things, or the real estate professionals out there. Sometimes things come up and, we always say, that's a good thing to talk about. Let's, because if somebody's asking it, then other people might be thinking about that as well.
I agree. And right now the holidays are upon us, and now's the time where, unfortunately, crime rises during this time of year. So we want to share with you some safety tips. I know we've shared some safety tips before, and some of them you probably have thought of. And
I'm
some
sure
of them
a
you
lot
may
of them
not
you've
have.
thought of, but because
right now, it's not there's a lot of bad things that are happening in the world. So we want you all, our real estate professional partners, to be safe.
Right.
So,
above
and maybe,
all else.
Yeah, above all else. That's the most important. We all make, you all can make a great living in this industry. But, and maybe.
There's crazies out there, and you already know that. And I'm not just talking the mortgage people.
We're okay.
All right, so there's a lot of them that you already know, like keep it light, only do your showings in the daytime, not after dark.
And open houses during the daytime, daylight hours. So
check in and get a photocopy of their license.
Meaning
if you can.
Have them come to your office in a public setting.
Right.
And have them give you a copy of their ID, verify their ID.
And if not, have them text you a picture of their ID, that kind of thing, so you'd know something. Buddy up, take somebody with you. You guys all know this already, whether it's your husband, your spouse.
Your lender.
Your lender.
DeLynn will go anywhere with anybody.
That was protection I would be, but I would want somebody like,
But even if you're
your
doing
dog.
If you're doing an open house, make sure you have a buddy there, whether it be a mortgage person, spouse again, a title person, maybe you'll even go.
Tell people in your office, or tell your spouse, or tell someone where you're going to be, what the address is,
and who you're going to be with,
and who you're going to meet. And obviously, Google the person that you're going to meet. Everybody has a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, that kind of
and
a
if
thing.
they don't, I would be leery.
I would be leery,
yeah,
right? If they
maybe
don't,
that's not their real
Look
name.
them up.
I love that little tip you had. Can you share that one?
So I was telling Barry at the beginning of the show. This goes back years ago, before the days of cell phones, and I had a realtor friend who was, we didn't have cell phones, everything was pay phones or your home phone, and she had a call. She was on the floor duty, and she had a call from a client, and they said, "Can you come and pick me up at Stop and Shop," which is kind of like a Publix up north.
Stop and Shop.
Stop and Shop. That's what it's called. Any of you Northerners know. But anyway, so they wanted her to come and pick them up at Stop and Shop because they were out shopping or whatever, and take them to see this house that was, down the street from the shopping center. And so she was taking, like you're supposed to, their name and their address and their phone number, taking it all down, and she repeated back to them the phone number. And when she repeated it back to the guy, she changed the phone number.
By like one digit or something?
By like one digit. And he said, "Yep, that's it."
That's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
So she did a polling test question, basically.
She did. And that, needless to say, she did not go and meet this person.
So if he said, no, that's my wrong number, then it would seem normal.
And now in today's, and maybe you guys already do this, I don't know, but in today's society, we do have cell phone numbers. I'd call that number back.
Yeah.
And make sure the person
verifying.
answers. Make sure, exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy. Of course, now they have those phones you can rent, and
I know, the burners, burner phones, and you can just throw them away.
All right, so here's some safety tips that you may not have thought of, that we found that we thought were really good. Open house safety, to me, this is, we all like to do open houses.
Right.
It's a great way to grow your business, but do you ever, when you're done with an open house, sometimes you get busy, you might go up in a room
most of the
somewhere.
time you guys are by yourselves, and that's scary.
Yeah, it is scary, but make sure when you're done at the end of the open house that you walk through the house and be on guard, be on defense, that someone's not hiding somewhere in a closet, in the backyard, looking peculiar. I know it seems crazy, but like you said, there are crazies out there.
Lots of crazies out there. Check the closets and be prepared to defend yourself. Check everything.
I like this one too. Bring up the rear. When you're showing a house, always bring up the rear. Let them lead through. And a nice way to do it is say, yeah, the master's right out here out back, and maybe make the gesture to go that way. You don't want somebody walking behind you that's a stranger. And I know, and there's a lot of great people in the world, but it's those 1% you got to worry about, or less.
I know.
But they're out there.
They are.
So bring up the rear is my next tip. And this more for a homeowner when they move in. Once you close on the house and you buy it, and you're buying that new big screen TV,
all the stuff you're buying,
and you got the new KitchenAid and all these new toys. Your trash is someone else's treasure. So your whole neighborhood or some stranger driving by knows what you just bought at Best Buy or ordered on Amazon, whatever
Right.
the case may be. Take those boxes, shred them up,
Right. Break
and
them down.
compress them,
Put them in a trash can.
and so nobody can see what you bought, because
Right.
people will come back and visit you.
That's a good tip just for around Christmas time. That's coming up pretty soon too. Same thing, don't advertise, by putting that, the cool stuff that you just got with the big box out there, because you're making yourself a target.
All right, we got a couple more great tips too. I like
this one.
Set up a distress code. You like
No,
that one?
that's yours, but I'll take the next one. Go ahead.
So set up a distress code. Hey, I'm over here showing the house on Elm Street. Can you give me a copy of the red file? Because maybe you're in trouble when,
Right.
you can't talk normally, but have that code, distress code.
You just feel uncomfortable, and just that puts somebody else on guard.
alert. All right, what's your next tip?
The other one is there is apparently GPS-enabled jewelry out there, which I'm not exactly sure. I know too much about that, but that's what I'm hearing that there is. And I'm thinking it's maybe those watches, those Apple Watches or the Android watches or whatever. But there's other things too that you can do. Even our phone, have one of those Find Me apps on here.
Yep.
Those
So someone
family.
can keep track of where you
somebody
are.
knows where you are.
Okay, got a couple more. Don't get parked in, meaning have your car on the street when
Don't
you're
park
showing
in
a
the
house.
driveway.
Somebody
Stay out
can
in the
block
street.
you in. And this sounds elementary, but make sure your cell phone has battery when you get to a showing.
I don't know about
Make sure
anybody
it's
else.
charged up.
By the end of the day, mine is definitely.
So, anyway.
it's winding
Just
down.
something. Any other quick ones you want to share?
No, I think that's it.
That's all good. So let's share community events, what we got going on in community.
Right.
We got a great Lunch and Learn coming up. You don't want to miss this one. I know it's December. I know we're all busy in the holidays, but on December 11th.
We actually weren't going to do a Lunch and Learn. A lot of you come to our Lunch and Learns, but we weren't going to do it for December because it is such a busy time. However,
we have an opportunity to give you 3 credit hours, continuing ed, for free. So come December 11th at Carrabba's in Port Richey, get online, register for us or contact us. It
Right.
will be full. And then we got the Grinch on December 14th. Go on WPBA.biz, How the Grinch Saved Christmas. Get your tickets, pre-sales available right now. So a lot of great stuff going on.
good stuff.
Yep. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And happy Thanksgiving,
Share
everybody.
our show, like
Yes.
us. We're out on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, your Dixie,
Please share
your
us.
Dixie
Comments,
Tumblr.
let us know. And please let us know. Keep the stuff coming in, because we get our ideas for the show from you, the things that you want to know about. So please keep sharing that stuff with us. We appreciate you guys. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody
Happy
out there.
Thanksgiving.
We are today and every day.
Moving forward.
We'll see y'all next
See
week.
you next week.
Bye-bye.